Here we go! I'm so pumped. The course is finally live. It's piano, it's organ, it's everything you need to take your playing to the next level. Every module is designed to get you playing with backing tracks created by professional studio musicians. This is the ultimate toolbox of licks and tricks for you. Be the first to check it out right now. Hey keyboard nerds, it's Mike. I wanted to walk you through the Universe of Keys course. I've had a lot of people ask, what is it like when you get inside of it? What kind of content does it cover? And I thought it would be a good time for me to do a recording here in which I walk you through the course and take you through a few of the different modules and give you an idea of exactly how it works. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to universeofkeys.com, and when you get there, you can click on Buy Now. And when we go through this screen, it'll show you that there's several different options for purchase. There's a lifetime purchase. It's just a one-time payment of $449, or you can split that up into 3 payments of $159. And this gives you obviously lifetime access to the course. You never have to pay again, and we will continually be uploading new content to the course. So that is the best deal. The courses can also be subscribed to on a monthly or an annual basis. And this right here is Keyboard Pro. Keyboard Pro has both the piano and the organ courses together, which I think is the best deal. But you can also just purchase just the organ course or just the piano course. So if you get Keyboard Pro, which is both courses together, it's $39 a month, or it's $229 annual. So that's kind of how the pricing breaks down. So the best value for this course is if you buy the lifetime membership. If you buy a lifetime membership, you actually get a free 1-hour masterclass via Zoom with me. I would also say that you're always in the driver's seat with this as well. If at any time you want to cancel your subscription, you can. You just have to go right here to subscriptions and click, and there's a link, and you can cancel your membership at any time. And an added bonus is all of the prices are in Canadian dollars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of Keyboard Pro, which is both the organ and the piano courses together. So why don't we take a look at that? So this is kind of what it looks like. It's divided into chapters, and there's over 300 videos here. There's a bunch of notation for the licks, and there's some great backing tracks that I've made with some of my friends that are studio musicians that are really fun to play to. The first chapter that I'd like to show you today is Foundations. We'll start in the organ part of the course here. So we'll go to Organ 1, Foundations. Click in here. We'll look at course curriculum. So here's an example of some of the foundation stuff. We've got Hammond Basics B3 101, which basically walks you around a vintage B3, how it works, what the drawbars do, what the percussion does, what the vibrato does, what the Leslie switch does. And even if you don't have a vintage B3, a lot of these skills apply directly to whatever clone wheel keyboard it is that you're playing. I've even got some things in here like Hammond Basics, how to turn the thing on. If you've ever walked up to a B3 before, you know that they're not just so easy to turn on. It's a bit of a process. There's some different repertoire in here that I think is really fun. One of the first ones is B.B. King, The Thrill Is Gone. It's a great minor blues progression, and it's a great vehicle to learn a bunch of great Hammond skills in. So in this particular song, we address what the chord progression is. We address the best inversions that you can use so that you're not moving your hands around too much and kind of staying in the same spots. We address some really cool passing chords that just make it a little more interesting. And we address crab walking, which is how to change chords on the organ seamlessly, almost like you have a sustain pedal, because as you know, you don't have a sustain pedal on an organ. So crab walking, as I call it, it's important. I have also included some great horn lines that you can play on the organ that I actually learned while out on tour with B.B. King. They're legit horn lines that the band used, which come across really nice on the organ. If you're ever playing this tune live, they work great. Um, there's some other little tricks in here, like the Robbie King vibraphone trick, who is one of my teachers, and it's how to make a vibraphone sound inside of the Thrill Is Gone, and it is badass. Another section of this is supporting a solo, and this is how to use drawbars to create energy underneath another player. Very, very important. So as you can see, there's a lot that I touch on these different subjects, and I'm probably going to move a little bit faster here, but I did want you to know that there is a lot of resources for all of this in the form of notation and backing tracks that help you learn these songs. I'm going to move on to one of my favorites, an organ classic, Booker T and the MG's Green Onions. So in this series of videos, we break down this classic organ song. We break down all of the riffs. We break down the solos. And it's just such a fun tune. It's such a fun classic blues tune to play on the organ. This is one of my favorites. There's an excellent backing track for this one, by the way, that you can play along with. It's a lot of fun, and it's done with some great studio musicians. Another song that we do in here is Procol Harum, A Whiter Shade of Pale, another organ classic, and we talk about that in a series of videos. What I like to do in this course is not just show you how to play the song, but explain the concepts behind how they made the song, how they made the riffs, and why, so that you can apply some of those concepts to your own playing. Very important to be able to take some of these skills and be creative in your own way with them. There's some other classics and foundations. We talk about Jimmy Smith and get into some organ tremolos, which are a huge part of the organ vocabulary. We talk about Crowded House. There's a great video in here called Drawbars as Energy, in which I show you how to build a track on the organ and how to use the drawbars to build courses or dynamically move inside of a track, either taking energy away or adding energy. So cool. In here as well as the Billy Preston gospel lick from Will It Go Round in Circles, which is a classic for all organ players. And then I talk a lot about a guy that I love named John Lord from Deep Purple, who's had a huge influence on rock organ players, and a lot of the concepts that he uses will serve you very well if you're playing in cover bands or rock bands, because it really shows you what the role of the organ in those situations is. And he really refined that over his career, so we try to break that down, and it's an interesting set of videos, and I had the chance to meet John Lord, so I'll talk about that too. Another guy that we address in here is Pete Townsend from The who is a guitar player, but did happen to come up with some of the coolest keyboard parts in rock music, and did some of them on the organ, so we look at that as well. Let's look at something called resources in the organ chapter. I'll kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about as far as notation and backing tracks goes. So there are chapters in here that are like my top 10 favorite blues licks for organ. And what we've done is we've notated every single one of them. For those of you that read music, this might make it slightly easier for you to take down some of these licks. We've done some of the licks just with straight notation, with some fingerings, if that's helpful. And we've also done some with letter names if you have trouble, or if reading isn't your strong suit, as it isn't for a lot of people that are self-taught. So this makes it a little bit easier with the letter names actually written into the notation. This is also where you will find all of the backing tracks. There's backing tracks for blues shuffles that you can practice your blues licks for in all 12 keys. The backing tracks are set at two different tempos, 95 beats per minute, or if you're getting a little bit more confident, 115 beats per minute. So that's really fun because it's really important when you're learning these exercises to not just play them in the key of C. Take them around the circle of force and learn how to play in every key. That just makes you a stronger musician. So it's set up that way so that you can try these licks in different keys if you'd like. And then if I go into classics here, we can see some of the backing tracks. Here's the Green Onions backing track in F. So this is going to give a little metronome click, I believe 4 clicks to bring us in, and then the organ riff starts, and then you'll hear the band click in. So I'll give you an example of what this one sounds like. Here we go. That's where the organ riff happens. Band comes in. And you can play along. And this is where the organ solo would happen. There's even a guitar solo in here, just like the record. So that's the Green Onions backing track, and there's also backing tracks for Thrill Is Gone. There's some backing tracks for the reggae lessons. So it's a lot of fun, and there's a ton of content in here, and it makes it really fun to practice with the backing tracks. So there's a lot of information in this course. Every chapter brings something a little different. There's a chapter just on the blues, which addresses a lot of blues licks, blues intros, outros, turnarounds, bass lines, comping. There's a chapter here called Licks and Tricks, which is just addresses a lot of those firepower licks that in your solos will make you sound great, and has a lot of my favorite licks and tricks that I've learned over the years. And then there's another chapter called Solos and Improv, and this gets into some Dorian scales, some modes, some major pentatonic, some minor pentatonic, classic licks, and lots of them, which also have full notation. Let's move on to the piano part of the course. So here we have the piano course. The first module on the piano course is Foundations. I'll just give you a quick overview of that. When you go into this, you'll find that there's a chapter on chording in the style of the Beatles, which, as you know, is very, very useful. There's some different chording examples that you can try of mine. I've also looked at some other artists here, like the Fray, and the way that they chord on the piano. There's actually some country in here. There's an entire chapter on the country song Green Green Grass of Home, which breaks down tons of country licks, how to play rhythm in country, how to play fills. It also has a backing track that's killer. And these country concepts work really, really well, even if you don't play country. If you listen to the Rolling Stones or Led Zeppelin, this stuff is all through that. It's just really universal how country licks on piano work. We also look at the song Freebird by Leonard Skinner, which is a Southern rock classic. The great backing track on that. And one of the great chapters in this, and one of my favorites, is The Doors, Riders on the Storm. And this is about a 40-minute breakdown of Ray Manzarek's keyboard part in Riders on the Storm. It also has a great backing track that's really, really fun to play along with. We also have a chapter here which is just on piano blues, which addresses boogie-woogie blues primarily. All of the left-hand patterns, all of the right-hand licks, all of the turnarounds, intros, endings. Really, really fun, and lots of notation that goes along with that too. There's a chapter just devoted to country, and we look heavily at a piano player named Floyd Kramer, who developed the slip note style of country piano playing, which sounds so good. There's tons of content there on country piano licks of that style and how to use them in your own playing. Then, like the organ chapter, we also have a module on solos and improv, which we get into some modal stuff, some Dorian licks, some major pentatonic licks, some minor pentatonic licks, some great sus2 and add2 licks. And then I give you some examples of me playing solos through Boogie Woogie. These are great because you can see a lot of the licks in the course being used in application, and you might even find some other stuff that you can steal from there as well. You can slow it down to half speed if you want. And I will say that in the organ course as well, I have included some organ solos and have tried to incorporate a lot of the organ licks that you learn in the course into a solo so that you can see how it can actually become music. In the piano course, there's also a resources chapter which has notation for a lot of the solos, a lot of the walk-ups, walk-downs, licks, etc. And this is where you'll find a lot of the backing tracks for the piano as well. So that's a basic overview of the course. It's great because you can sign up for a month. You can try it out, see if you like it. If you don't like it, if it's not for you, that's okay. I wanted to create a course that would really help you find your identity as a musician and be able to create in your own way. So that is the Universe of Keys, and I hope you enjoyed that little tour. It's been so great for me to share this knowledge. I hope it's of interest to you, and I hope to see you in the keyboard course soon. Take care.